Every single one of your stories are unique. The strategies that your abusers and my own use to maintain their status share over some victim or victims. Many narcissistic people and many abusers love to use what is known as Darvo: deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. They use these ploys to deny any wrongdoing, to escape accountability, to attack the innocent, and to reverse roles to make the victim look as if they are the perpetrator and the perpetrator as if they are the victim. This form of manipulation is powerful enough with its lasting effects that it has on the victim of this type of abuse and society as a whole. But there are techniques that you can use to manage this type of abuse tactic. Darvo. What is Darvo? Again, deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. This summarizes a reaction, a consistent reaction and manipulation tactic used by the perpetrators of abuse or other types of wrongdoing. And it works by shifting the focus away from the original issue and attacking the actual victim. And it attempts to change roles of victim and perpetrator to allow the actual perpetrator to receive sympathy and compassion, and that is usually done private or publicly and privately, as well as to avoid consequences for their own actions. The formalized Darvo meaning was introduced by a psychologist back in the 1990s. So there are people who are within groups that are most likely to utilize Darvo. And those people are diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. They are abusive bosses, abusive parents, abusive in-laws, gaslighters, colleges and universities, workplaces, including multinational conglomerates and a small workplace, law enforcement, financial institutions, as a part of the financial abuse as well. So certainly not every group utilizes the Darvo tools, but what does Darvo look like in action? The abuser will deny, minimize, and justify their actions. There is a power in the simplicity of Darvo and the scheme that it upholds. This process can sway personal and public opinion very, very quickly. The accused use the Darvo techniques, and they can happen in such a subtle manner that many people will miss the warning signs, and instead they will fall into this pattern of manipulation where all evidence is criticized. So step one is deny, deny, deny. And the first step of the process is for the abuser to deny whatever wrongdoing that they believe that they have perpetrated. They will completely refuse that any element of the abuse happened in the way that they are accused of it happening. And whether the abuse is rape or other sexual or physical misconduct, emotional abuse, or any other type of problematic behavior, they will deny this completely, and they will remain steadfast in their assertions. There is nothing that you can do, because you're going to hear these responses. That situation never happened. I never did that. I'm sorry you feel that way. This is a lie. I'm a good person who could never engage in this type of behavior. I'm a friend to, say, women, and people understand that this is not me. And at this point is where it becomes clear and very simple. Talking about it openly, it closes this person down. It's not going to do anything but open them up to more criticism, and that is a narcissist kryptonite. So they only present this information in vague and very general terms. So what does it look like for them to go on the attack? Once the denial is established, the narcissist will go on the offense. And here, the abuser does everything in his or her power to attack the victim. One way to achieve this is by questioning their motivation, their mental health, their stability, attacking their intelligence, education, honesty, and morality, and attacking their actions, whether they are real or imagined, past or present. The abuser could attack the victim in countless ways by saying things such as, "You're crazy, you're a psycho, you're an alcoholic or a drug addict. You've made these claims before. You asked for this, or you wanted me to do this. You never said no." And the victim of this insidious abuse will never be treated with respect or value, as they will be demeaned and disparaged 100%. Perhaps this is the most fascinating element of Darvo, which is the attempt of the narcissist or the perpetrator to switch roles with the victim. And rather than taking accountability and responsibility for their actions. They aim to make their original victim into the perpetrator. This reversal, it is done in several ways depending on the situation, the accusation, and at times the attempt to the attempt seems to lack outward validity, and most of the time does, cannot stand up to any third-party background checks, and rationality as well. But that part seems unimportant, and many aspects of Darvo do rely on these feelings more than they do facts because of the narcissist living inside of a complete delusion. And in this hypothetical situation, an abuser, say physically assaulting someone, he or she would say that it was the actual victim who was at fault and who was trying to trap him or her by getting her pregnant, or planning to cry rape against him all along. And in the case of, say, institutional Darvo involving someone being harmed by the police, the officer or department could say that the victim actually attacked them first, as they acted in self-defense, or the person should have complied in order to avoid these outcomes. Darvo will take a terrible, uncomfortable, and traumatizing event and make it so that it continues the cycle of abuse. And now the victim has to deal with the original event on top of the damaging effects that Darvo has on their mental and physical health. And the intent of Darvo is to silence the victims, either through confusion, invalidation, or intimidation, by denying that any mistreatment occurred, downplaying the harm that it caused, attacking the victim's credibility, and then turning around to play the victim. You are not overreacting. First of all, you can combat this in several ways. Record your story. You have to find safety. You have to seek out support, recognize and accept the denial, recognize and counter the attacks if necessary, such as in a child or family court situation, avoid the role reversal, and ignore the public opinion, because more than likely the narcissist has been running a very long smear campaign against you behind your back, sometimes without your knowledge. So this Darvo, it is one of the worst types of manipulation and toxic types of behavior. It is an insidious abuse tactic, but knowing what it looks like can help you resist it and help others who are falling victim to its impact. My name is Sarah Ann Brown, and this is Narcissistic Abuse 101.